The Africa Twin has been fully kitted out by SW-Motech, and I thought I'd bring you the first video running through some of the parts, starting with ergonomics. So, as you may have already seen from a previous video, I am very proud to announce that I have been selected as the UK ambassador for SW-Motech, and part of that was to kit out a bike and then take that to various shows and bits and pieces throughout the year. But it's also an opportunity for me to test the parts, run you through what they are, what they do, and more importantly, what I think of them. I've been given free rein to be as honest as I normally am in terms of these parts, so I will call out anything that I don't think works. But having said that, my experience with SW-Motech is that that happens very rarely. As I said, I thought I'd start with ergonomics, so let's get to it. And so, as we're talking about ergonomics, it made sense to start with the cockpit and to do that on the bike. The first item that probably stands out are these risers. These are the SW-Motech bar back risers. These come in both silver and black, and the idea behind these is you get a riser. In this case, I think it lifts the bars 25 millimeters, but also they're on a sliding base. So you'll see in the cutaway shot there's markings on the side which are millimeter markings, which gives you the ability to slide these bars backwards and forwards and give you your optimum riding position. So as you can see, pretty simple. All you need to do is loosen the grub screws on the side. I found that you have to take a little bit of tension off of the bolts on the top, and then you can slide the bars backwards or forwards to get your best desired position. Loads of flexibility, really nicely engineered. Now, my experience with these, I'm 5'10". I suppose my inside leg measurement doesn't matter, it's 32 inches. I ride on the Africa Twin with the seat in its highest position, which I think is 870 mil. And I'll have to admit that with the risers, I do find these bars to be a little bit high. If you're taller or longer in the body, I think these are a really worthwhile addition. For me, I'll have to be honest and say that I think I've always found that the Africa Twin bars are in the perfect position for me. So I'm not actually sure if I actually need the rise. That adjustability is great. I've actually got these set in the neutral position. So yeah, given my height, or actually the length of my upper body, which is probably more important, and the seat in its position, I do find these just a little bit too high. My hands are a little bit elevated above my elbows. So after a while I start to get a little bit of tingling, a little bit of pins and needles in my hand. So I will probably revert back to the standard clamps. However, I will caveat that, because if you are riding a lot off-road or you ride a lot standing, obviously these risers do make that standing riding position much more comfortable. So yeah, that's the bar back risers. I'll put the prices and everything on the screen. So if you're looking for some risers, then I definitely would recommend taking a look at these, because obviously when you rise them, quite often, because of the angle that the handlebars mount, when you put a riser on, the bars might come slightly towards you, and this obviously gives you the opportunity to be able to push those further away and just get the very precise kind of fit that you need. Right, so moving on from the bar risers in terms of ergonomics in the cockpit, the other thing you'll notice are these, which are the sport mirrors. These are beautifully engineered aluminium mirrors with quite a lot of adjustability, obviously more adjustability than you would have with the stock mirrors. So it's a case of pulling out the stock mirror, mounting like a kind of a little spacer bar, and then within these you've got a certain amount of adjustment as well. So undoing this little grub screw here means that you can change the angle, and then you've got an additional 2 grub screws up in the top there. If you loosen those and they will extend out, and they extend out quite a way. They are beautifully finished. The vision from the mirrors is excellent. I'm not getting any more vibration than I would get from the stock mirrors, but what they do is actually throw the mirror out sort of higher and wider, and these are not even extended, so if you can extend these even further, but with these as they are, I've got a brilliant view behind me. I can't see, I can just about see my shoulders, and obviously I can move those out a little bit further if I need to. So vision is very good. They're beautifully engineered. I think they look good. The only caveat I would say is these are not cheap, and again I'll put the price on the screen for them. So if you're a road rider and you just want that extra bit of reach and the ability to be able to move these in and out, they're perfect. If you're riding off-road, maybe a little bit more aggressively off-road, where there's a chance that you'll drop the bike or clatter a tree branch on the way across or something like that, then you know these have got some bend in them, so if you did crash, that is likely to bend up. But if you break them, they're expensive. Now the alternative, if you don't want to spend the extra money and you don't want this bling, is to fit a set of the SW-Motech mirror extensions, and that's just like a little bracket that bolts onto here in a similar fashion to this, but it throws the stock mirrors further out and further up, so you haven't got as much adjustability for that, but it's a cheaper option to buy in the first place, and I think a stock Honda mirror is going to be cheaper to replace than this, and this is what they look like. In terms of ergonomics, is what you can see from the cockpit. It's these risers and the mirrors really that are going to be the key items. This camera here is actually mounted onto one of the mounts. There's several different kits. This is just like a little ball ram mount that mounts onto the handlebars. Really handy for clamping cameras, sat navs, all sorts of bits and pieces like that. And in the box there's plenty of options in terms of how you want to fit that, and it opens up the world of phone mounts and GPS mounts and all the other stuff that SW-Motech offer. Obviously the key points for ergonomics are the hands, bum and feet. So my hands are in a different position here, we've taken care of that with that. I've just got the stock Africa Twin seat, no problems with that. I think that's a really nice comfortable seat. So that just leaves the feet, and we've got a big change there which is not so easy to see on the bike. So let's cut to me back at the shed so I can show you the foot pegs and the brake lever extender. Now dropping down to the lower side of the bike and the third part of that triangle, we've got a couple of options on this side. These are the Evo footrests, and this is the brake lever extension, and we'll start with that first because that is simply this little machine piece that bolts onto the top of the existing foot peg. It gives you a much bigger foot plate to use, particularly useful when standing on the bike. And there's another little bit you can put if you want to put another piece up higher, but for me, where I'm standing, that is absolutely perfect. Just gives me a much more robust feel on the brake pedal. Okay, so let's turn to the Evo Footrest Kit. This is what they look like with the rubber in. You can unbolt that, take that out if you just want the bare one, and you'll see there's a bolt here, because what these do is pretty interesting. So as you may be able to see, there is a bolt under here. If you undo that bolt, and the pedal will lift off. You can see there's notches on the inside of here, so if you want to change the angle of that pedal, you can do so. But by the same token, this section underneath there is in the neutral position, and you can rotate it. So it works on a cam, so that kind of moves the pedal up and forward, and it will rotate around. So that's the pedal in its highest position. You can move it so it's 90 degrees further forward, 90 degrees further back, or at its lowest position, and everything in between. Really neat to be able to fine-tune exactly how you want this pedal position to be. A really decent piece of kit, this one. And on the other side, You've got the always handy side foot extension, just gives you a bigger footprint when you're standing a bike on soft ground or uneven ground. Really does help. I think for me that's always been a no-brainer of a part to fit. And I guess the only other thing I should mention around ergonomics is the SW-Motech centre stand. This bike actually doesn't come with a centre stand, and this, I must admit, was far easier to fit than I imagined. Very easy to get the bike up onto it. This is a really high quality piece, and I'm not just saying that. The engineering behind this I think is really good. As I say, easy to fit, does the job, super stable. What more could you want? So I hope you found this video useful. I wanted to just do a few quick videos to kick things off. This one starting with ergonomics. I'll do another one where we look at the luggage range on the bike, and another one for protection. I have quite a few trips planned for this year, one of which will be to go and visit the SW-Motech open house in Germany, where they open up their factory. They have loads of entertainment, tons of bikers there. Should be a really good fun weekend, so watch out for that coming up. If you've got any questions or you would like to know something specific about any of the parts or the bike, then just let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you, and all that leaves me to say is until next time, thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.